So we start with finding a place to lie on the carpet. Observe how you feel, how the body feels. And just relax all your weight towards the floor, towards the carpet, towards gravity.
People live their lives in a fictional modality. It's said that to enjoy a good drama, one must suspend one's disbelief in a performance that one knows is false. But the ego is actually the refusal to suspend one's belief. One ends up believing the narrative that one tells oneself about one's life, believes it so deeply that they're willing to put the conflicts of the plot and the affects of the tragedy and the melodramatic feeling of victimhood into their bones. They're willing to die for a story.
And then when I just clap, we just totally dropping inside and outside in one drop, finding the way to go to the horizontally from the verticality.
It's a story of the loss of the power to tell good stories. And so one can disbelieve in the story, but make the disbelief yet another story, and that's called nihilism. And so the secret to the art of yoga is to stop telling stories to yourself, but not make a story out of that. But it's very hard to not believe in stories, because as soon as you're not a character in a story anymore, you realize you don't even exist. That's all the mind is a story. It's a storytelling machine. And once that narrative principle is removed, there's nothing left of an individual identity. You could tell any kind of story, and every story ultimately revolves around a love story. But that love story requires a fantasy in order to support itself. Because love itself is the release from all stories. If you love someone, that's what you do. You release them from the stories that they were trapped in. And that's why people want love, because love means the old story is over and now a new story can begin. And yet when people fall in love, it's called a fall because they recreate the same old story over again. And that causes the love to die, because the love is the moment of freedom from the story. Now, if we can live in that moment when we're free from the story, it's the story that magnetically pulls us into tragedy, into the sense of victimhood, into loss, into conflict, into frustration, into being willing to kill and die for something that is fictional, meaningless, but that we raised into some ideal, some flag, some principle of life that transcends all reason. We use stories as buffers so as not to meet each other in the real. We use stories to manipulate one another and to justify that manipulation. And comedy is perhaps our highest mode of literature, because we can begin to laugh at those tragedies and see them for the foolishness that they are.
And we start to walk in the space as if we want to own all the space for ourselves. So as if I want to cover all the space with my own body, with my own intention. So I start to have this intention that I want to take the space to myself, own the space. I'm not crashing in anyone. I want to be everywhere and nowhere.
And there's a fear that if you let go of your story, you're going to be trapped in someone else's story. And then you could be in even a worse character situation. And isn't that what Hamlet was worried about, that after death, he would just dream himself into another story? Because he couldn't handle just being free, even in death. Isn't that why the soul chooses a bardo state, even a hell realm, rather than being free of stories? And isn't that why we created this world and turned it into a hell realm? Because we couldn't create any more good stories. And so we chose the horror stories, the dark stories.
She's inviting me, and first she's just coming close to me and inviting me to her. And then when she feels that I'm really relaxed and I'm not resisting and I'm with her, when she's sensing this, she's just doing 1 or 2 steps to the back, that I can really feel that I can let go my weight. Just leaning, that I can totally let go all my weight. And when she gives me this experience a bit, and then pushing me back slowly to my own center, that I center back.